Permaculture is really a design system, and so it's not really a system of gardening or a system of farming in the way of precisely how you work the plants and the soil. It affects all of those things, but it's more of a design system for both sustainable land use in the broadest sense. That could be everything from gardening to forestry and grazing and everything in between, and sustainable living. So it's concerned with both the production side of the equation, how we provide human needs from nature, and also the consumption side of the equation, how we use those resources and eventually the complete way we live. Yes, well, the origins of permaculture really are in what I call the first wave of modern environmentalism in the 1970s, where there was a huge ferment of interest in ideas in what we would call sustainability today. And it's sometimes difficult to explain to young people how strong that was in the 1970s, associated with the energy crises, but also right through to the beginnings of the counterculture of ideas of intentional community, organic agriculture, natural building, self-directed, more autonomous or more self-reliant ways of living. So I was all influenced by all of those ideas around me, and I was a student in 1974 in what I describe as the most radical experiment in tertiary education in Australia's history, a course called Environmental Design. And it was sort of a design profession course, architecture, landscape architecture, urban planning. And after the first year in that course, which was very free and very radical, there was no fixed curriculum, I'd come to the conclusion that my real interest in a profession sense was really around the field that we would call landscape architecture. But I was interested in how landscape architecture could be applied to agriculture using the principles from ecology. So the intersection between the design practice of landscape architecture, the agriculture as the primary way we provide for human needs, and the science, the holistic science of ecology. And as far as I could see, those three things did not come together at all. You could find intersections between two, but not between the three. And it was at that stage that I met Bill Mollison, who really became my informal mentor outside of even the framework of this radical course. And between us, the idea, the kernel of the idea of permaculture emerged out of that very intense working relationship for a couple of years. And it was in that time that I penned the manuscript that became Permaculture 1, published in 1978. So for me, that was stuff that was coming out of academia in a way, out of conceptual stuff, but at the same time, Bill and I were developing the prototype permaculture garden at his property on the fringes of Hobart. So I was working constantly at the desk on this project, full-time, not doing anything else in my studies, and actually working, putting together these ideas in practice. So it was that synergy between the practical work and the theoretical.